But we had a great time. For anybody really wanting to go snowmobiling, check your battery terminal.
Yeah, you've convinced me. I'm definitely going to want to go next time. This sounds great. I can't wait.
I feel like snow wheeling trips should be called snow shoveling trips because that's what I really end up doing. Hey, you want to come up to the mountains and shovel snow with us?
It is a sweaty endeavor for sure.
Yeah.
It was definitely a 3 shovel day.
You have tuned in to Remote Trails Radio, where your hosts, Garrick and Melody, take you off the beaten path into the world of overlanding, life in the Pacific Northwest, and whatever the heck else we feel like chatting about. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's hit the trails together.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode. This is Melody.
And I'm Garrick.
And you joined Remote Trails Radio. We have a special guest today that you might have heard from before in episode 5. We have Beth. Welcome, Beth.
Hi there. How are you guys?
Good.
I am sadly stuck inside when it's gorgeous out right now. That's how I'm doing.
Yeah, my agent said I needed to be paid a little more for this.
Yeah. So our dear listeners know the sacrifices that we're making to make these recordings.
It is nice to see you all in the daylight, though.
Yeah, right. The lighting in my particular situation is so much better when it's daylit. There's way more like things happening outside that Ryder might react to, so he might make a sound appearance at some point, and I apologize if that occurs.
Yes, and now that I have 2 dogs, there's double the chance for barking.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Yeah.
And Beth has a nice, friendly dog who does not make lots of noise, so we don't have to worry about Rue as much.
Nah, he's well behaved. Oh, it's not that your dogs aren't well behaved. That's not what I meant.
How is Cameron doing?
He's doing well. He's doing a lot better. He was sick a while ago on an overlanding camping trip, and so it seemed touch and go, but he's bounced back in his usual self.
Wow, being sick on a trip is the worst.
That sounds so stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not fun. And it was pouring rain. I mean, pouring rain. And so we just decided to leave the next morning and hooked it back home. So
was that the Halloween trip?
Yeah, it was. He had pneumonia, so it probably was the rain and everything else. Yeah, it was not fun. But he's doing good. Hanging in there.
Oof, glad to hear.
Yeah, that was definitely not the ideal conditions for camping, but it would have been those conditions for like weeks in a row. So I was like, well, okay, I guess we're just going to do this and make it happen. And even if you want it to happen, sometimes, that can occur. So what can you do?
The hot tent helps, though. You can't miss a giant hot tent.
Well, that's the only way to made it viable was the hot tent.
Towel.
Yeah. Speaking of rain, though, this is actually a really good segue into Melody's update from a previous episode regarding the Roadie. Melody, do you want to run with that?
Yep. So if you guys haven't heard the previous episode on this, what episode was it? It was 26. Okay. So I was talking about the Roadie, and Beth, you had actually recommended it to me, and it sounded like a great idea. So what it is, it's like basically a mini tent for your windows of your car. So I use it for the back passenger window. And what it is, it has a tiny pole that has it stick out from the window, kind of gives it a little shield. And then you can have the bug mesh if you open it up and provide some airflow when it's raining, which is actually really great. Hard to find in a 4Runner because that back hatch lip doesn't do anything for us. Anyway, so my update is that it's still crumpled up in a corner. I haven't bothered to sell it, and I also haven't bothered to throw it away. And I feel bad because it should be usable, but I have user error. So, Beth, how's yours?
Well, funny you should ask about more rain. So I went out this summer, and it just happened to be the one time that it was absolutely beautiful during the day, and it poured rain. I thought it was going to flood us away because we were down in a gully kind of rain. And I had that on. And my pillow was soaked, like wringing it out because
oh no,
it's kind of hard to describe without seeing it. But when you put it over the window, what I learned is you have to pull it so it's at the very end. So the rubber casing around the window shuts in with it. And then there's a little tie pull that you pull to make it really taut. And that helps the water steam off and out the window versus into the window. And so it does work. It's just operator error like you that I was like, how could this possibly happen? But it also was torrential downpour. So I think everything would get wet regardless. But I think that doing that and just test it. And I thought the same thing, like maybe I'll just do it the right way and then just take it to a car wash and test it to see if that will,
that's a good idea.
Help. Because I'm pretty sure that it's not meant just for when it's nice out, obviously, because it is literally looks like a mini tent or mini round tent on your window. So I still got to keep mine and charge ahead. It's fantastic in the summer because you can have the window open and the off chance that it's going to rain at night. Do a night rain. It's worth it.
Oh, right. That does happen. Yeah, I just couldn't figure out the engineering of it without the rubber seal touching the car. I was trying to figure out how the water wasn't going to seep in from hitting the fabric and then just going down in the inside of the door.
Yeah, mine came all the way in on top of me because I sleep right up against the window. So it was pretty wet, but I realized that the water had collected and then eventually just kept dripping. And so I realized that I had too much of the material on the inside of the window versus pulling it as far away just to the rim of the rubber trim on the window.
This car wash idea sounds like a great video opportunity.
It would be fun.
Yeah, make sure it's touchless, obviously, because otherwise it's going to crush the little top on it. But
yeah, of course.
Oh my gosh, that can also be a huge failure.
Or a hose. It's not like I don't have a hose. Like,
there we go.
In my house. Just it.
That sounds less committing.
Just like all this foam's just getting shot into your car.
Well, you guys live where there are fancy car washes. I live where there's this self-wash.
and they have ruined the backs. You're like, what's going on?
No, I think Garrick is the only one that can do the car wash. Mine is too big, and they don't allow it in
I can't do the car wash either.
Yeah. I can do touchless ones. I can't do the ones that do touch because of my roof rack. Apparently, there's insurance concerns with that apparently people have had roof racks and then like the wheels or whatever get caught in there and just like completely destroyed people's roof racks.
And it doesn't bother your shower rim? That's permanent on the outside of your car?
Well, I don't do the touch ones. I have done touchless and just fine.
Yeah, I think there's one in Redmond that's touchless that can fit our cars. But it doesn't really get a good clean.
Yeah. Well, I like the one where like you're kind of just doing it manually anyways. I don't know what you call them, but like the one where you have the nozzle and you're just walking around and doing it.
Yeah.
Because then you can really focus on the undercarriage.
Oh, they see us coming a mile away. They're like, don't come here. We don't want your mud. Oh, man. Cool. All right. So, well, that solves that. Anyone looking for a roadie, I got one for you. If you want to try and figure it out, put a hose on it.
Yeah. Well, as a third party kind of looking into both of you guys being owners, it seems to me like it's a great thing, like Beth said, where during the summer where you don't think there's going to be a lot of rain, it kind of gives you that sort of comfort that if there is a little bit of rain, you're going to be fine and you can leave it open, not worry about it. But if you are anticipating a lot of rain, maybe go a different way.
Yeah, just this window sock, the $5 window sock.
Window sock.
Because we used those window socks in the torrential rain and it was fine.
Yeah, that survived Vancouver Island. So
I don't get why the double mesh would be better, but it is. It works really well.
It's really weird.
Maybe it has like a DWR or some kind of finish on it. That's crazy. It's just wild. Anyway, all right. Well,
yeah, Beth, I know you've been on a snowmobiling trip recently. I think we're really hurting to hear that.
Oh, my goodness. Well, there was snow and there were wheels. I'm not so quite sure we got very far with the snow wheeling part of it. The snow is pretty deep. It was recently up to Tonga Ridge. So the snow was pretty deep and there was a lot of it, but it was very thick, I guess is a way to describe it, because there was some moisture in the air And so it really socked down the snow. The trail itself was pretty well knocked down by a lot of people going up before us. But once you get into the more narrow parts of the trail, it got pretty dicey. And that particular trail we're on kind of call it. So we're attempt to turn around. And one guy was able to turn around, but of course I couldn't because I got stuck. So I guess if getting stuck were an art, I'd have to hashtag Picasso because it was pretty stuck. It took about maybe 30 minutes to really rock it and roll it. And then if you could imagine, and it's definitely a visual of two guys standing on the right side of my skid rails, bouncing my car up and down so I could rock it back and forth so I could just get over a hump of snow because it was so thick that by the time my tires were there and it was cold out, then it turned into ice and it was my tires doing nothing but spinning. And I don't have rear locker, so it just kind of hunkered down. But eventually kind of snow shoveling and good old recovery boards under there, and I was able to just bounce out. And once I bounced out, it was easy just to go down the hill. I'm not a fan of ice on a cliff, so this particular trip wasn't that. I've done that, and so I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm not doing it again. This is not worth my life. Oh, exactly. I hear you.
Not worth it.
But I'm going to do it anyway. I've jumped off tall buildings with a single bound, and so I'm not going to let a little snow hold me back. So it's just a fear-facing factor, and it's just kind of grit your teeth. But when you go with people who do it and have done it and are really good at it and understand the recovery process, I know we all understand how to do recoveries, but when you're with someone who knows and then can point and see while you're in the driver's seat, they can see things that you can't and have the experience. That's when I think that it's critical to have some of those people on a run like that, because I call him a guide, could see where my tires were and what was happening and allowed me to turn and punch it and then back up and punch it a little more, which I think is important versus let's just rock it back and forth. You know, when you go with some folks that don't necessarily have lots of experience, you know, I'll do it again. I'm going to do it in February. So keep doing it. And that's just the fear factor. But funny that you would ask about my previous, fear of ice on a cliff, is that I was coming back down as we were leaving and my car battery had died. So remember the vortex I was telling you guys about where my car completely went all black as if the battery had been removed.
Oh, right.
And that made for some very interesting, good thing I'm a good driver because it made for some interesting response time. And then the car started back up and then died again. And I've looked up where the car is not supposed to take you out of four-wheel drive. It doesn't naturally do that. If the battery dies and you're in four-wheel drive and you're in your other road nannies, but my car did. And so it made for a little fishtailing as I was going down and was able to get to the bottom, but discovered what the actual vortex was, that the battery terminal casing was not tight enough.
Oh.
So we really ratcheted that down because when I turned it off and tried to turn it back on, there was nothing. And so there's enough juice in the battery. It's brand new. Yellow top, highly recommend. And started right up and haven't had problems, but I am going to have a wire inspection. But that, so culminating everything and then having that happen, I just chalked it up to just an life experience to just work through. So,
oh my gosh.
But we had a great time. For anybody really wanting to go snowmobiling, check your battery terminal.
Yeah, you've convinced me. I'm definitely going to want to go next time. This sounds great. I can't wait.
I feel like snow wheeling trips should be called snow shoveling trips because that's what I really end up doing. Hey, you want to come up to the mountains to shovel snow with us?
It is a sweaty endeavor for sure.
It was definitely a 3 shovel day because I wasn't the only person that got stuck. So And so I think the only one guy that was with us that didn't get stuck was in a Jeep with like very small OEM.
Wow.
Hello.
Okay.
That's really unfair.
Yeah.
But I also still have this bone of contention with my tires in anything that's wet. So I'm still working through some of that.
What are they?
Dissonance. Wildpeaks.
Are they the AT3s?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm just, I don't know.
Let's get new tires together, Beth. I'm getting new ATs as well this summer. They're going to be the Mickey Thompsons. You want to do it?
Yeah.
We can get them together.
I have some bad news, though, because the Wildpeaks have some of the best wet grip rating of any of the AT tires out there. That's one of the reasons why I selected them. So It's probably only going to get worse.
I know.
If you want wet grip, you get all seasons. That's just kind of how it is, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm telling you, those Revo 3s, they're fantastic tires. It's just when your mind and your ego says the tire needs to be bigger. And they're still in my garage for anybody interested.
We're selling a Roadie and we're selling some Revo tires.
I thought your tires for sale too on mine. So I kind of chuckled.
Oh, yeah, because I'm selling the MTs. Yep. I've had that car for 7 years now, and I've had 7 years of different MTs. I would say 2 different sets, maybe 3. And I'm just going to go to ATs. I think maybe I'm not a mud person anymore. Maybe if I want to go mudding, I'll actually take a real mudding car instead of my car. But I've heard really good things about the Mickey Thompson ATs. And since I wear winters in the winter, I think it's going to be a more appropriate tire for the summer for me.
Yeah. I've heard good things about them as well.
I have too. I was looking at those Wildpeaks. Yeah, well, everything I have is loud. I'm used to it. You have to yell when you're in the car with me. But Garrick was saying about the Wildpeaks. Didn't you say the AT4s were reviewed badly?
They changed the formula, so I wouldn't say they're reviewing poorly. I recently watched a review. It was a YouTube one where they did really poorly in snow. Like their snow performance, new formula has degraded a good bit. But even within that same reviewer, though, they actually listed the Wildpeaks as their favorite AT tires just overall. So even though they were the lowest performer in the snow performance test. So depends on what you're looking for. But yeah, I've been really happy with the snow performance of my AT3Ws. But obviously you can't really get those anymore. So it's kind of a moot point. Got it.
So I wanted to ask Beth, when you're using the traction boards to get you out, were they Max Trax or Tread Pro?
They're Max Trax.
Max Trax. Oh man, we got one for Max Trax. I think we were winning with the Tread Pro last year, but yeah, no.
Well, Shannon's also a Max Trax, I believe. So I think it's Scott, you and I are all Tread, but then Shannon and Beth are Max Trax as far as I'm aware. So all right. I'm not sure about other guys.
We're going to have to get Dimitri in this conversation, then we get one more for Tread Pro. Just by default.
True. That's guaranteed. Guaranteed.
That's guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. So you call a ringer in that fight.
So do you have the metal, do you have the little steel spikes on yours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I was in pretty deep snow, like thigh high. So it was a little struggle, a lot of shoveling, but I did notice that the grip to that on the tire was not as strong as I would hope. Because I've only used them and used them as a bridge on dirt, and so getting them in the snow, and I was pretty stuck, and I'm pretty heavy. I noticed, oh wow, there's a little wearing on that tread point, but I also have some small minis that I think are, I don't know if they're Rhino, but I've used those just to shove under the tire, and they popped right out, and I think those things were not $350.
Yeah. So. Max Trax has different levels of traction boards. So I know that you do offer one that has the metal on top of them. But I guess the advantage of the plastic ones are I think they're quite a bit lighter than our Tread Pros. So
yep, it does make it easier to pop them back in and out.
Yeah.
However, I have the skid plates under my car, and so in snow, it's such a disadvantage because it just sucks to the snow when you get stuck. And then you have that added problem of needing more traction boards to slide under there to provide space between the skid plates and the snow. But yeah, okay. So Beth, I really wanted to ask you, for those people that have either never snow wheeled or went snow wheeling and had really bad experiences, what would be your advice? And what I'm hearing so far is going with someone who really knows what they're doing, leading a trip.
Mm-hmm.
That would obviously be a huge help. And then 2, picking lines or trails that are not on cliff edges.
Yes, definitely.
What else would you add?
It's time on. It's like anything. You're a skier too. So it's always going to be that time on, and you only get better. Going someplace that's on flats or you just get used to driving in snow. I grew up with snow, so I'm used to it and have driven in it. I learned to drive in snow my first time out, but it's just going to be your fortitude and want. And you always have to go with the mindset that it is fun. But at the end of the day, there's probably going to be some work. Like Garrick isn't lying about the snow shoveling. We've done it several times to get our friend out who has a massive truck, got stuck twice. So that was, sometimes it could be a 30-minute deal. Sometimes it could be an easy pull out with your winch to being almost 2 hours of getting someone out. So it's just, you got to go with an open mind and just go with someone you trust.
Okay, cool.
And follow directions of that person.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I think what I'd add to that too is that definitely stay in the tracks if there are some, because otherwise you just don't know what's underneath the snow. I've run into that where there was a big boulder that was underneath the snow and ended up just like completely launching myself up and then landing on my gas tank.
What?
Yeah. It was in a campground area.
Wait, Beth is like losing it over here. What? What's so funny? Was it like, because it sounds awful what Garrick says, but looking at Beth,
the annoying thing is I actually had followed other tracks, like somebody else had made tracks there, but it was something that must have had like crazy insane clearance for them to make it over, because it was a huge boulder.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that was fun. And I had to replace my whole gas tank because of that, because I suddenly my range went from 330 miles down to 180. This is so bad. That's not the only time I've had problems with this. I'm not a big snow wheeling fan because I keep running into things underneath the snow. So another time I was like going through tracks and the tracks disappeared, and I was like, I don't know, it's weird, but like tracks were going, so I like kept going, and then suddenly I'm going fine, and then my whole front end just drops, and it turns out that there was like a puddle there, but it like frozen over. So then I crashed through ice, and it just destroyed my OEM bumper. So yeah, snow wheeling.
Beth, you didn't say anything about this.
I'm laughing only because I do remember that trip, Garrick.
The Boulder one, yeah.
And it's funny because one person that was with us got slightly stuck in the campground, and then
who could that be?
Go out, and we go out, and then I think a couple of us got stuck, and then the one guy in the big truck got super stuck, and we go back not knowing, Scott and I are sitting there waiting, going, we don't know where they are. So we're radioing, and you just said, hang on, we can barely hear you, because we got pretty far down the trail. And then it was a good half hour that we were waiting. But I'm laughing because I've been to that campground when there's no snow. And what you went over is actually the erosion deterrent, where they put all the rock or boulders up against where the road is. And it's almost like you just left and went over the berm of the campground. And so that's how you found that rock.
Yeah.
But I'm not one to talk, because as we were leaving the next day, I got stuck in my parking space because the tires were warm when we got back, and they created nothing but ice overnight. And like it spun and eventually got kind of up and over the lip of the campground, and we got out, and we all drove home very quickly. We were kind of done with that evening. But yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh at it, but
no,
In hindsight.
Water under the bridge at this point. So
it doesn't sound like it was too soon.
Yeah. So that's nice. For you. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Beth, since we had you on last year, you joined on one of the ATSA runs for one of our big week-long adventures down to the Owyhees. So I wonder if you had any particular highlights of that trip that you wanted to bring out.
Oh, that was tons of fun. It was just, one, I was really excited that we didn't have to get up at 7 and bug out every day. So that's my personal favorite.
It was a very chill run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think one day we only drove for 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah, that's great. I was like, I like this. I like that trail guide today. It was beautiful. I love the shorter days where it goes kind of back to that original kind of journey versus destination, because I liked that you were able to actually have longer time to enjoy the destination of where you were at, regardless of where it was. The scenery was beautiful, and I'd been down more on the Idaho side before, so being in the Oregon side was pretty cool. And Leslie Gulch, of course, anyone who does off-roading or camping has probably heard of it. It's beautiful. You have to physically see it, because I think the pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah, you have to be in it. Right? Yeah, for real.
Yep. And I will say that buying my, what I call shower, but it's a room that you can unzip and it unfurls on this, and I have it on the outside of my car. That taking that shower on the 4th day was amazing. So I heated the water up. It was very hot, so it was easy to heat up water just in kind of a collapsible milk jug. I just put it on the top of my car as we did other things, and it heated up to a nice balmy 80 degrees and took a great hot shower. So that was awesome. I do have a mini shower that I use that I just submerge. That was amazing. And I have really long hair, and I was able to wash my hair and take a shower without using more than 2 gallons of water. And the thing actually rinsed everything, because I was a little nervous that it would run out of water, but I didn't. So that was a great part.
Nice, because like that area, it's very arid and it has kind of a deserty feel to it. But because we're along the river for most of the route, we actually had a lot of water access as a result.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fantastic. The company was amazing. A lot of fun. The chillness, I think, of the run was fun. I can't talk about the tire flattening debacle, because that's a whole story under itself. So I don't know if you're planning to have Sam on to talk about that, because it was pretty miraculous how everything fell into place that then he could rejoin the trip. So that was really fun.
That's humor a good point. Highlight. I think with that, for me looking back, it feels very minor, just because of the first time we attempted the Owyhees and it went so poorly. So that tire debacle was like, oh yeah, that was a challenge, but that's just a bump of the road. It's fine.
I would say the humorous highlight was sitting at a campsite, and we were butt up against a mountain, and the top part of the mountain was fairly flat and shale. And Doug had this massive, like $20, like Temu special flashlight that he shined on the side of the mountain, and it was massively bright. And then they were doing finger puppets on the side of shadow puppets on the side of the mountain. And then all the campers around us could see that, but they didn't know where it was coming from. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's Slocum Creek, and that is a very popular area on the Owyhees. Melody, this is where I think you made us dinner that night. That, or you made us appetizers that night, if you can remember when we were there the first
appetizers.
Time. Yeah, it was that place. So that's why you have those big cliff walls. You're in that canyon, right? So basically, not only were we doing finger puppets, but everybody could see it. That was down there.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
And doing the food arrangements, because I don't like to cook, so it was, oh my God, dreading it. And so I learned a lot of things, that you buy smaller pasta because it takes less time to cook. I'm doing hamburgers next time, so just FYI.
Sounds good. I'm not doing
pasta and garlic bread ever again.
Maybe talk to Doug about that. He did hamburgers one time and he really regretted it.
Oh, really?
I forgot which trip that was, on the Idaho Traverse. And I think it just took him way too long. So
yeah, the spaghetti took a long time because it was fresh and it made it, and it was 900 degrees, and the guys are sitting around. I actually did give them scratch off tickets because when guys get hungry, they need something to do, and so they're like scratch their tickets off. I think somebody won $5, so that was
I did.
great.
That was me. I very recently actually turned that in.
Did you? Yes, right on. That cup of coffee, and it's just the way that it was planned. I think at the outset that how well it was planned and how specific, and then going with people that just kind of roll with the flow is pretty cool. And being the only girl to some poses challenges. To me, it doesn't, because I'm going to go wherever I need to go. I'm not going to stand on ceremony. And then I did blow out my knee about a month earlier, so it made walking a little difficult. But I was well taken care of and had a really good time. It was tons of fun.
Awesome. Glad to hear
it. Was this around the same time that Garrick was also injured?
It was, yeah.
Yes, it was.
I had recently had surgery for my collarbone the entire time, so I also had a lot of help from everybody involved, so that was great.
My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing though, I do remember that I'm electrical and fuel. I'm like, nope, I'm always going to tap an expert. And the fuel bags that we have, I think Garrick and I are the two that have the fuel bags. I also have Roadie fuel. And it was so warm. And I'm sitting there. Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, I can't remember who I tapped on the shoulder and I said, they're going to blow up. Because of how hot it was and just the elevation that we were at, they got very large.
Oh,
and so
no.
Yeah, you got to burp
them. He goes, that's no problem. We'll just burp it. Yep. And I'm like, okay. So that was like a learning experience that they do engorge. And of course, if you take physics, you know that does happen. I never even thought about it.
Yeah, those armadillo bags, I think they're called.
Armadillo bags.
Yeah.
I was thinking crocodile.
And they were great, though. They were great. So,
yeah, they're
and then
handy.
once it got smaller and smaller, we had room and just put them I put mine in a garbage bag once the fuel was done and just put it in a garbage bag and cinched it so you didn't have any fuel smell and put it in my rooftop.
Oh, absolutely. Where did you keep it while you were driving? Did you keep it on the top of your car?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's where I messed up because I have that Yakima box up there that takes up all that room. And I thought in my brain that I could put the gas bag on the ladder because that makes sense. Only if you never access the back of your car. It is really heavy.
All the weight holds it down.
It's really heavy.
And really heavy, yep.
Oh, man, that was such a mistake.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they weigh about 30. I think it was about 32 to 35 pounds. Because I have the 20-gallon, I believe. It's pretty heavy.
5-gallon.
5-gallon, sorry.
Yeah, and I think
it's really heavy.
I think gasoline, I don't know what gasoline weighs, but water's around 8 pounds per gallon. So yeah, it ends up getting pretty dang heavy. I was not allowed to lift that kind of weight with my left arm at all, so I needed help to get it on and off of my rig as well.
We're taking a break. It's Melody jumping in to say we're hanging out on Instagram if you want to keep up with the Overland nonsense. And if you're on Apple, Amazon Music, or Spotify, go ahead and download the episode so you don't lose us. All right, back to it. Well, Garrick, what have you been up to lately?
I have finally picked up a winter sport. It's been something I've been wanting to do for a while now since we have access to snow in Washington, which is nice, especially if you live in Seattle. It's like you can visit snow when you want to and then just be away from it when you don't want to be near the snow. So I have picked up cross-country skiing as my sport. And at the time of recording, I've done it over the last 2 weekends. And I have some tips related to it, but I'll just quickly go over where I skied first. The weekend before last, I went up to Nation Ridge Trail, which is kind of just south of Lake Wenatchee off of Highway 2. That one's a nice trail because it's a really long one. I think I did about 6 miles just doing that trail there and back. And I found a secret spot where you can actually access it and not be like in the crowds where the crowds are parking. There's actually a western side. There's a rest stop on 2 just before you reach Cole's Corner. If you go just a little bit past that, just east a bit, there's a turn onto National Forest Road 6910. And there's a nice little parking area, and you can do just a tiny little bit of backcountry and then meet up with the Nason Ridge Trail. I kind of had to do that because I was planning on taking a lesson at the Nordic Ski Center on Stevens Pass. But when I got there, I found out it was closed because they were still doing road work in front of it. So I was kind of in a bind because I was planning on taking that class, and I have a snow park permit, which is what you need to go to Nason Ridge. But the thing is, I hadn't received it in the mail yet. And you can do a temporary printout to put it into your dash, but I hadn't done that because I was planning on taking the class. So I was really happy that I found that spot where I could backcountry my way into Nason Ridge, so I didn't have to worry about getting a fee for not displaying my pass. And I saw some other locals that were there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we use this all the time." This is apparently the state is going to make that actual snow park area soon, so I just got there a little ahead of the game. And then this weekend, I finally was able to take a ski lesson. This was actually in Plain, which is just north of Leavenworth, about 20 minutes. It's kind of cool because they have a meadow there, which is where you both have been. It's where the Overland Rally takes place. The Northwest Overland Rally is right in the same meadow. So with this, they have a bunch of trails during the winter, and they offer classes every weekend. And then I actually attended what they call an immersion clinic. So it was an all-day affair where I got there at 10 and it lasted until 4 p.m. It included lunch as well, and a waxing clinic at the very end too, which was pretty cool. I got really lucky because it turned out with all the road closures that they've had, they said that they were really slow this year. So I was the only one that signed up for the cross-country lesson on Saturday. So I actually had a private lesson the entire day, which is kind of cool. Yeah. But that was really valuable. I learned a lot of skills that basically, how to use these trails and whatnot. Because like when I did Nason Ridge, I was a little scared because as I was like going down, I was like, I don't actually know what I'm doing. I know I probably should like do the pizza wedge thing to slow down, but I was like, I didn't really know the skills. And also they have the two like grooved notches for the classic skis. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But if I go downhill in those, like, how do you slow down? I just didn't know how that worked. Right. So that's something that I learned in this clinic as well. And getting up hills too. Like I didn't know how to get up steep hills because how does that work? Right. So I strongly recommend if you're getting into really any ski sport to take some lessons to get the basics down, the fundamentals.
And both Beth and I are cringing at skiing uphill.
No.
Yeah, it's some work. It's some work. Yeah, or they call it herringboning your way up or whatever. Yeah, you get good workout.
Isn't that Plain Valley quite flat? Or
Plain Valley is flat. Yeah. So they had a couple of little tiny little bunny hills that we were able to practice technique. But then yesterday, Sunday, I went over to Lake Wenatchee after having camped nearby there. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But Lake Wenatchee has some more undulating hills. So there are some parts where you like really do need to do the herringbone V cut up to get going. But yeah, it was great because all the skills I had learned the day before, I was able to apply at Lake Wenatchee. And those are cool trails because not only are they, groomed daily, but you're like going along the lake and have all these really cool views. And then there's a river that goes into it as well. And you can get these awesome viewpoints from it. So yeah, it's an experience for sure.
Have you planned to go to the Matau Valley, like in Mazama? There's a little ski school there, and it's the longest by miles, I believe, cross-country ski trails, either in North America or actually the world. I can't remember which one, but it's amazing. And it goes on forever. And some of them have really cool rounds or where you can ski right into Winthrop. It's actually really nice.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, Beth, because I'm going there next weekend, actually. So,
awesome.
Yeah. Some of my old Seattle friends and I have rented an Airbnb cabin there. So it'll be a Friday to Sunday ordeal.
Awesome.
Yeah, yes. Can't wait. And you're right. That's what I've heard too. It's that some of the best in North America, if not the world, for the cross-country trails.
And you have to stop at the Mazama store for the bread before you go out because there'll be a line and it sells out, but it is amazing.
Nice.
And it's Mazama store bread. That's all you got to know.
Good to know. Yeah, I had a few tips in addition to what I've already told about it. For one, the first weekend when I tried to go to the ski class, because I haven't experienced the winter skiing situation, I didn't know. But if you are going over to Highway 2, over like past Stevens Pass, either go very early in the morning or in the early afternoon, because if you get hit there like mid or late morning, it gets so backed up with people that are just like waiting for a parking spot to open. So I left it. My ski lesson was supposed to be at like 10 a.m. And so I like left my house at, I think I left at like 7:45. So it should only be like an hour and 45 minutes. So I gave myself like an extra half hour of wiggle room, only to find out that it took me over an hour just to get past the very top of the pass. The roads were great. Everything was fine. It was just the parking lot for Stevens Pass, Alpine area, gets filled up real fast. And then a lot of people are just waiting for other people to leave. And it just becomes this huge line. And it's not managed well because there are 2 lanes, but both lanes are people are waiting. And then people are just trying to cut in at the last moment to like get in. So it was a freaking nightmare.
That sounds awful.
It was a lesson hard learned. I was reading up online. People are saying if you get to Stevens Pass before 8 a.m., then you'll probably be fine. But otherwise, like that 8 a.m. to noon, it's just disaster. So if you want to get to the east side, it'd be faster to just take 90 to 97 and then head back. So that's my first tip. The other one is the snow park pass I mentioned. That's a statewide pass. You want to get it with the Green Trails edition, and that will get you access to a lot of different ski areas, and they're great. Snow Lake Wenatchee is one of them. The rangers do aggressively check to see if you have your pass, so make sure you either have printed out the temporary pass that you get immediately or have it affixed to your dash once you do receive the real one.
Will you give us a link for that?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, sweet. It's federal?
It is a state. It's a state pass.
Oh, sorry. A state pass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same winter pass that's required over in Mazama, that area?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. There are some where it doesn't apply to. If you go to the like Snoqualmie or Stevens Pass, it doesn't apply for those. You have to pay separately for that. And the same with the Plain. Plain is a separate private entity that's for as well. But like most of the stuff that's out there, especially like along the I-90 corridor, with the exception of Hayek, are all snow pass.
Okay. Because I know that they have one where it's not, you have to buy an all winter pass, and it doesn't offer like day passes to be able to park and ski over near Mazama. So just double check.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that.
And they do check religiously.
They're pretty
stiff about that.
And it's per vehicle, it's not per person. So if you do have a friend who has one, you can just ride with them. The other thing is that if you're camping, a lot of these areas do require a snow park permit for camping. And that's actually what Shannon and I did when we camped over by Lake Wenatchee. I've camped in that area many times during the summer, so I had a lot of different ideas of where we could potentially camp. But this is the first time I've actually attempted during the winter, and it turns out that a lot of the trails that I use out there are converted to snow park like trails for snowmobiles. So some of our favorite spots are just inaccessible because they're roped off for snowmobiling. So basically, like Shannon and I, we had 2 choices. We could either camp at the Lake Wenatchee State Park, which is they do have a camping area dedicated for winter camping. That requires a snow park permit pass, and you also pay on top of that. The alternative was that we ended up at the Lake Wenatchee airstrip. They have a big flat parking area there. It's mostly used for people that are trailing their snowmobiles onto the trail. So that's where they would offload them. But camping is allowed. It's a camping allowed by permit. So we camped there. It was fine. It's a big parking lot, but it did the job what we needed. And actually, for the most part, it was Shannon and I for most of the evening until a couple of campers rolled in real late, and they hardly even used their vehicles. They mostly just used it as sort of a place to sleep overnight, essentially. So yeah, that's cross-country skiing in Central Washington.
Nice, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You're talking to 2 alpine skiers, so you can't see our faces when you.
I feel like there's got to be some listeners out there that are going to really need that information, though. I'm not going to become a cross-country skier anytime soon, man. I look like a complete idiot on those things. I feel like a beginner all over again. I don't like it.
Well, it's one of those things I think it takes a lifetime to get good at too, right? So it's tough.
Beth, have you tried it?
Oh, yeah. No. I personally loved how fast it is. Park, ski on the snow.
Yeah.
And the beauty that you can just navigate kind of anywhere, and there's not like tons of people.
There's no lines. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely the advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the snow park permit for Washington State is $120 for the entire season, right?
Wow.
That's like one lift ticket for alpine skiing. So
yeah, the expense is pretty steep. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's beautiful. So anyone that's interested in doing it, definitely try it.
Right. And you had mentioned the Meadow. They have cool things where you can actually rent a hut that you ski to. You ski to the hut and you can camp in that hut up there, which is, I think, a neat sort of backpacking type experience. But Melody, you have like skins that you put on your alpine skis, right? That's similar in a way. That feels like not the same thing, but adjacent anyways.
It is adjacent, especially if you're doing kind of like an up, down, when you're doing uphill. You, kind of like cross-country skiing where you don't have any edges and you're going down a small slope and you have basically no control. So I like to minimize that as much as possible. If there is like a huge downhill, which is the fun part for me, then we're taking off the skins and we're doing that with edges, with very sharp edges.
Nice.
Where I can have more control. But yeah, no, uphill is great. It's just become a little bit more difficult in the PNW to do it for free and to do it without restriction. I have learned, and I know this is an overlanding podcast, but we're talking about skiing. On the weekends, parking is great after 12. So if you are a person that loves to sleep in or be productive in the morning, going at noon or after lunch, you can get a great parking space and then go uphill and you don't have to wait in any lines or anything.
Nice. And then they have like half-day lift tickets too, right? So you're probably saving a little money on that.
If you want to pay for lift tickets, sure, but I don't pay for lift tickets. For uphill, you have an uphill pass, which I believe is $55 a year at Snoqualmie, and you can just go up. Every mountain has its different regulations.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think it's time for random recommendations. Beth, do you want to get us started, please?
My rando reco is a Luno fan. It's a little mini fan. It's about $32, but I put it on my window and plug it in the summertime, and it just helps. It's pretty swift blowing. It blows pretty good air. When I turn that on, it helps circulate the air in the back for my dog. And I wouldn't say it's an air conditioner, but it definitely helps circulate the air back there. And then in the summertime, it's a little loud, but I think if it can circulate some air in the summer before going to bed, because I sleep in my vehicle, so it helps circulate that. So I've found some pretty good luck with it, and it actually sticks on the window, which is surprising because a lot of those tacky kind of suction cups usually don't stay on, but this has stayed on all through Oahu. It was in the back, so cold, hot window. It's pretty cool.
Nice. That's a good tip. I actually recently got something similar for Ryder. I actually have kind of a funny story related to it. I usually have it in the passenger seat because it has these like little arms that you can kind of curl around things. So I had it curled around the headrest. And so I could put it right down at Ryder when he's in the passenger seat. I'm like in shopping or something like that on a hot day. But it just sort of lives in the car. I drive back to South Dakota over the winter or the holiday break. I had moved it from where the passenger side to the back of the driver's side because that's where my feet were going to go when I have my sleeping platform up. Well, as I was driving home, whenever you get a weird sound in your rig, you're always like, what's doing that? And you're like trying to figure out like where the rattle's coming from. And it's driving me nuts because I kept looking back. I'm like, geez, I'm just not knowing where this rattle's coming from, but it's so constant. And then it wasn't until I made it all the way to South Dakota that I looked and saw that I was like, oh, it's the fan that was right behind my head that was causing it the entire time.
The unknown rattle. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, it'll drive me to madness.
That's so funny.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could probably do a whole podcast on inclement sounds in your vehicle. What is that?
Noise?
And then when you have a new one, like mine was actually, I took some friends out and they had a simple can, but it wasn't a pop can. It was a thinner Monster drink type can. and they'd shoved it underneath my seat. And I'm like, really? And I would move and I would hear this rattle, but it didn't sound like a can. It sounded like there was something actually underneath the hood of my car.
Oh my gosh.
And then when I found it, I was like, oh, curses. And that was it. So like anything.
At least it did it better. It's not something underneath your hood, because that would be far more concerning.
No. Yeah. Been there, done that.
Nice. So that was the Luno fan, which that sounds like it could be good, not only for pets, but even just in general, especially if you're sweeping your rig, having some airflow is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Melody,
Eric, go ahead.
I would say, Melody, how about you? Since I was doing the X-Ski stuff for a while, so let's hear right.
Random recommendation. Another boring one, man, 2 in a row. I was talking about taxes last time, so this is even more scintillating. I'm going to talk about steam cleaning. So I bought my steam cleaner with the intention of steam cleaning my engine bay. I've done it about 3 times, and I've realized that some people are better at cleaning my engine bay than I am. So like Beth, I take mine to Toyota to get it steam cleaned because they do a great job. Nice. And I have talked about that on the show before because they're pretty inexpensive as well. But I have this steam cleaner, and now I can use it also to steam clean my floors. And it's amazing. And it was very intimidating at first. And I feel like setting it up was the most unmotivated thing I've done in a while. But now that I've done it twice, exactly 2 times now, I've got it down. It's very quick and easy. And I feel a lot better now. Having 2 dogs and then having sticky floors, no bueno. So it's nice to get it steam cleaned. I've got the McCulloch steam cleaner, MC1375. Don't ask me how I got there. I did a ton of research, and this is what I came up with. And I got it used for $150, but it's $200 new if you want to buy it. This McCulloch has all different speeds, and it has a long extension for steam cleaning your floors as well. I didn't buy it for that, but it just came with it. So I'm a happy clam.
That name just feels like you have to try to say it with a Scottish accent. McCulloch.
Do your best, Garrick.
That was it. McCulloch.
Well, great. I will have an even more positive
Here
association.
all week.
Yeah, all right. Mostly it's just my dog has to hear my bad puns and whatnot, but
What's yours?
I also have kind of a boring one. I don't have an exciting one this time. I'm sorry.
Are you going to say it as a Scottish accent, or are you?
No, so mine's going to be on a topic. When I say cross-country skiing, it's also referred to as SC skiing. It's also referred to as Nordic skiing. And then within that, there's 2 different types. There's like the classic and the skate skiing. Classic, you have the heel goes up, and then the skate skiing, your heel is bound, and it's almost like ice skating, but on snow. So there's an app called Nordic Pulse. It's an app and it's a website. And it's really great for getting the trail conditions. So it's really cool because every single Nordic skiing trail system in Washington that I'm even aware of is on their list, and you can favorite them, and it'll show a whole map of it. And it'll show a map with 2 different like color guides. One is the grooming report. So it'll have different colors for how recently it was groomed. And then you can also switch it to the difficulty. So it'll have like green, blue, black, that sort of thing for the difficulty of the trails. And it's, for right now, at least, it's totally free, and it's a very impressive app. So I'm kind of surprised that it even exists. But yeah, if you're getting into the cross-country skiing in any way, I would heavily recommend Nordic Pulse.
Why do you think it's free?
I feel like with all things tech, it's probably just new, and eventually they're going to get everybody caught onto it, and then they'll start charging for it.
Oh.
Yeah, that or hopefully they'll go like ad supported, but not in an annoying way. So we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, shoot us the link for that too. And,
we'll do.
That'll be nice.
Cool.
Although it's probably easy enough to find on the app.
Yeah.
Store.
Well, it's definitely Nordic. It's definitely NordicPulse.com, so it's really easy for the
Okay, oops, fair enough.
So yeah, I think that's looking like an episode. Beth, do you have any closing or parting thoughts for us?
No, just get out there and have fun and pray for sun. It's all about perspective and want and just doing it.
Nice.
Anyone can do it.
Is there anything that you're planning to do different for the Utah trip this spring that's different from what you did in the Owyhees as far as prep?
Get on the food list first.
Yeah, Yes,
that was very important.
That's
so let me know. Just text me ahead of time and let me know when you're sending it, because we know Nick is in there and he's up at 4 a.m. and I am not, so he gets the first dibs.
Well, Nick has been at the end of the line many times. I think he's learned his lesson now.
Yeah. Well, it's all competition now. Best man for himself.
That's one of the trip organizer tricks, is that I always make sure my name's already on the list when I share the documents out.
It's like Eric's the second day and it's tacos.
Yep.
I know. And I'm like thinking tacos ain't a bad idea. The burger idea is kind of a Bush idea. I think tacos. It's just kind of rethinking, because I think that the night is going to be much cooler in that area, especially in May. So it's just maybe a couple of different items to keep me warm at night. But nope, I mean, it's access to water, I think, is going to be a lot thinner than it was this last go round.
Very much so.
I was pretty lucky. I have a 7-gallon water jug that fits underneath on the floor behind my passenger side. And I use a siphon, and that really worked. And then I have a dual container Roadie for the outside. So that really helped. And then a collapsible water jug for any time there's water. Can use that. And then as the water gets lower, it collapses, so I save on space.
Cool. All right. Yeah. The other thing that after being down there twice, I can say that's different is the frost. Overnight, it frosts. Like as soon as the sun goes down, it starts getting real frosty over everything. So that's something you have to be aware of as well. That it just doesn't happen here for some reason, which I find kind of surprising. So cool. Well, thank you for joining us, Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
Welcome. Yeah. Nice to see you guys.
Nice
Absolutely.
to
hear you guys. So, well, now I'm off to my next appointment.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll have you on again soon enough. Thank you again.
Yes.
And we'll call it a wrap.
If you want to get in touch with us by email, let us know what you think. remotetrailsradio@gmail.com.
RTR, over and out.